Welcome back to BaldHeaded Metal, guys. My name is Joseph. Today, we're going to do a full album reaction to the new Exodus album, Persona Non Grata. I absolutely love Exodus. It's been a long time since we got Blood In, Blood Out back in 2014. I'm super excited what Gary Holt has done with this album and Tom Hunting. I'm ready to jump into this with my whole body. It's one of my favorite bands of all time. So let's go through the whole album. Let's see what we got here. Fingers crossed that it's going to be good. All right, the first song is Persona Non Grata. Oh yeah, I know it's gonna kick in. I love how aggressive Gary Holt's writing is and his music and his riffs. I absolutely love it. Yes. Okay, we're on point here right away. Exodus is one of those bands that just got better with age, I think. In their resurgence in 2014, it was... I'm sorry, 2014, it was way before that with Temple of the Damned. Sorry about that. With Temple of the Damned, that album, when they first had that big resurgence, when they took a big break, they've only gotten better as a band, and Zetro has been absolutely killing it. And I love him and Rob Dukes basically neck and neck. I love both of the vocalists for Exodus. You know, I'm not used to Zetro doing the harsher vocals, but it actually sounds good. Him doing kind of a different approach to the vocals and trying to push himself just a little bit. And I did mention my favorite, like I like him both equally as vocalists. I'm not a big fan of Paul Bailoff. That's the only reason I didn't mention it. I know who he is. I know he's the first singer of Exodus. I just never been a big fan. As a matter of fact, I am not as much of a fan of the early Exodus as I am of the newer Exodus, but I do like Fabulous Disaster and Bonded by Blood very, very much. Yeah, right off the bat, I love the heaviness of this album. The production has been a consistent thing, actually. They've been having this sound from the Death Machine album. I'm trying to remember the full name of the album. Shovelhead Kill Machine. Since that album, they have been having this sound, and I think it's a great sound for them. And of course, Gary Holt is just coming in with the crazy kinds of riffs and very fast and kind of chaotic riffs. He's not going to be a virtuoso of a guitar, but he's this fast, aggressive, shredding kind of guitarist, and I've always loved that about him. I love his style. I even love what he contributed in terms of when he went to Slayer too. I've always loved what he's done with the band. I always had a feeling like he did some kind of writing for those songs, but apparently it was all Kerry King mostly doing the writing. Persona Non Grata. love that. Let me rewind that just a little bit. I love their, I wouldn't say breakdown. Breakdowns is kind of more of a deathcore, right? Metalcore kind of a thing. But those moments where you know if you're in a mosh pit, it's going to get really, really crazy. I do notice their songs are, for the most part, shorter in comparison to Atrocity Exhibition B. That was my only criticism of that album. I liked that album. It wasn't a perfect album. It wasn't their best from their resurgence, but it had really good songs like Demon Aside, and I'm trying to remember some of the other song names. They don't come to my mind, but I really liked that album. It was just songs were a little long, and some of them just went on for like forever. And that was kind of my criticism of that particular album. It's nice to see that they kind of tightened it up here.
You've been a downcast. I took the blame for all the shit you made on me. You put me dead last, death on my name, tipping me to my knees. I will rise up and jump you out. Revolution underway. I fight a silence, pay for in violence. This is my Independence Day. Your voice brings me to rage. We can't stand the thought of you. Discord is my true reward.
Oh man, talking to Andrew from Scars and Guitars when we talked about Exodus and the specific album Persona Non Grata, I can see what he's saying, that they sound hungry, they sound aggressive, and to him it was one of the nominated, kind of one of the albums he's going to be considering for the album of the year. So far it's off to a great start. Man, he's killing it with us. So I have to, I'm sorry, the soul didn't even finish. I have to rewind that. Holy smokes. And I love that these solos are a little slower, because they tend to play fast solos on their songs, and they're kind of slowing it down a little bit and getting a little bluesier up in here. And I like that approach. I like that from them. So I'm guessing there's going to be quite a lot of variety on this album. Yeah, 100%. This is what I've been waiting for from Exodus, because I was talking to one of my clients actually about this idea of that it's not like hip hop or electronic music where you can make an album every single year with a rock band, with a metal band, with a blues band, because of all the instrumentality and how complex songwriting can get. I feel like a lot of bands need more time to create really stellar albums. And just not this, everybody does it different. I think Iron Maiden's been pretty consistent with their career. They've had a couple of breaks, but they've been pretty consistent of always releasing albums. But with Exodus, it's like they got that breath of air to breathe a little bit and recover and really get that fire back. In thrash metal, fire is extremely important because of the aggression of the music. And that's actually why I like that music the most. I love the aggressiveness of the music. I love my symphonic metal. I like my power metal. I like my more kind of deeper music that I've heard with Bellacore and Coherence. But this is just all out mosh, kind of go insane and just headbang. I love that. Yeah, I love this like ending transitional that is slowing it down and they're giving that chunky, heavy riffs. And it's a good example of you don't need to play fast to be heavy. I remember as a kid, the only way I understood it was heavy was faster and louder. And that's not necessarily the case. It's just the attitude that you bring forth will give you that heaviness. For example, AC/DC to me is one of the heaviest bands. Motorhead is one of the heaviest bands I ever heard because of the attitude that they brought to the music. Oh, I kind of rewinded it a little bit. I gotta...
No one not recognize. I stand terrified you. On the foot I think not of you. This is my emancipation. Living in a world devoid of you. Your voice makes me rage. I can't stand the thought of you. Persona Non Grata. Persona Non Grata. Persona Non Grata.
Gary Holt, welcome back, man. Exodus, welcome back. Holy shit, that is a strong way to kick off the album. I have a feeling it's going to be one of the better songs on this album, but the one I'm not going to cover The Beatings Will Continue. I am not going to cover The Years of Death and Dying and Clickbait because I already did reactions to those songs. I am going to be re-listening to them as I'm getting ready to write a review for this album, but I'm not going to do those. I just want you to know, for those that haven't seen my reactions, The Beatings Will Continue I really liked. Clickbait I really liked. I did not like The Years of Death and Dying. Just didn't do it for me. I didn't like the chorus. And kind of they were doing weird decisions throughout in songwriting for me personally that just didn't jive with me. And guys, I always mention that I am critical of all music. This is one of my favorite bands of all time, and I'm still having some criticism forward. I just don't like it. But let's see what other songs, because one song doesn't ruin an album. But if there's 3 or 4 songs like that, then we're gonna have a problem. The next song is REMF. Let's go. I like that beginning, kind of what sounds like an offbeat riff, right? It just keeps switching tempo as it's playing. Cool intro. Cool intro. Let's see how the song progresses. Reserving my judgment. This definitely sounds like Temple of the Damned, but heavier to me. It does not sound like Blood In, Blood Out. At least to me. It doesn't sound like Blood In, Blood Out. It sounds more like Temple of the Damned in a slightly heavier format. And Zetro, of course, being on both of those albums. But here, he's on point. He's sharp. There is some criticisms I've heard on Facebook pro groups and stuff like that, in the official page of Exodus. People always argue about who's the best vocalist for Exodus, and a lot of people call Rob Dukes. I totally understand. I started with Rob Dukes. That's my introduction to Exodus, as I was a late bloomer for this band. But I don't think Zetro is any worse. They are neck and neck, because they both do different things as vocalists for this band, which I think contribute. Because Zetro has better range. He has better range. He plays around with his voice more. He's a lot more playful. Rob Dukes just has that no-nonsense attitude that he brings. But in terms of stage presence, I think Zetro got him there. And that's just my personal opinion. And all their politics and kind of personal opinions aside, you know, I might not agree with Zetro's political views or anything like that. I think he's a great vocalist for this band, and he's doing it just, absolutely just. He is the vocalist of Exodus, and the longest running vocalist.
Aliens take up the fight. We'll stand as Lucas, far out of reach. We'll fly a satellite. Power politics while thousands of clicks from the front lines. Rated and all seek the bull by the horns, weighing the bottom line. Canyon fire makes the sky glow. Acid lead make the cash flow.
To me, this also has kind of a punkish feel with the main riff. It gives me a very strong punkish feel, which we know thrash metal is heavily rooted in punk metal. And bands like Slayer never even turned away from it and kind of embraced those roots, especially in their Undisputed, what was in that album? You guys help me out in the comments. That one album that Slayer released.
Bleed and die while we don't know. Wrong behalf of all this world. Yes, Lord, motherfucker.
That's the kind of solos I'm used to from Exodus, where they just kind of go for the jugular right away. Yeah, I can see this not being a lot of people's jam already, to be honest, because this is old school. Because, you know, music progresses in how you write music and what you do. Even in thrash metal, young bands who pay homage to the old school Bay Area thrash and other bands as well, they still do it differently. They write songs very differently. Prime example being somebody like Warbringer or Vector. They do a lot of homage to those old bands, but they can't be what Exodus is. They're the originals. So unless you like that old sound and you appreciate them bringing it back in this album full force, just like Overkill does time and time in and time out, I don't think this might be up your alley, to be honest. But for me, for a person who's a heavy enthusiast of the thrash metal genre, absolutely, I'm already on board with what I'm hearing from this album. I really love that main riff.
No statistic, acceptable death rates. But it's good for when they volunteer. Bullets don't discriminate. Candid fire makes the sky glow. Brass and lead makes the cash flow. Bleed and die, why they don't know. On behalf of all these, on behalf of all these, on behalf of all these, we're just to learn, motherfucker!
That was good. Kick-ass outro. Yeah. You know what I've always liked also about thrash metal, and it's particularly pertains to Exodus. Not every thrash metal band, but a lot of them, they are rough around the edges. You know, when you hear Bellacore, when you hear Epica, when you hear even something like Bandmate and all these kinds of bands, there's a certain thought process and the way they construct the music and elegance to the music, and that's a good thing. It's a great thing. I've always liked about thrash metal, the reason I go to it is this unrefined, raw, aggressive, rebellious nature to the music that always had a kind of, my heart was very close to it because of that, because I'm a rebellious kid by nature, despite how I think I come off as pretty polite and quiet and everything like that. I've always been a very rebellious kid and always did what I wanted, and only heavy metal music kind of reinforced it further for me. Now the next song we got is Slipping into Madness. Let's see what we got here. Again, very nice, smooth intro, and it's just gonna kind of kick it into high gear. You can kind of feel the way they're ramping up the song. Fun fact, by the way, guys, my first concert I ever went to was in 2007 on the Atrocity Exhibition 8 tour of Exodus. First time I saw them in BB King's. I was at the front with my brother, not knowing what I'm getting myself into. There was women flashing their breasts. There were mosh pits that were absolutely insane. I got a high five from the second guitarist. I'm sorry, I always forget his name. I got a high five from him. Rob Dukes was like egging us on. It was the most craziest first time experience. I don't think there's many concerts that have topped the insanity, except maybe Overkill, because their concerts are crazy, than what I've seen with Exodus.
Something you have never heard of that is taking lives away so easily. Never minding what it is that is consumed.
Gary Holt is so good at creating catchy riffs. He's so good at that, and I think he's gotten only better with in the later part of his career because he's able to switch them on. And there's so many different riffs in one song. He doesn't just stick on one thing. He plays around with different riffs, but they're also just catchy. They get your head banging right away, for me at least.
Country in an epidemic state. Father to this. Have to recreate it and given it another name. The cartels, the doctors, the pharmacists. Infection, affliction, dissension. The death tools, the red room, sedation. Addiction, plaguing the youth. Slipping into madness. Fire up the high.
Oh, that's fucking dope. I love that. Yeah. It's like it seems like I'm just like fanning out as a big fan of Exodus, but I really always come in cautiously optimistic because I don't want to get disappointed by my favorite band. And I remember being first disappointed by Atrocity Exhibition B and Blood In Blood Out. It's only with the next couple of listens where I've gotten grasp of the album and really kind of sunk into it. But Blood In Blood Out, the reason I don't like it as much as others is I don't like every song on it. There's a couple songs I'm not a big fan. Atrocity Exhibition B, there's a couple songs I'm not a big fan of. But Atrocity Exhibition A for me is the pinnacle of what the band is able to do. And Temple of the Damned is a really, really good album.
Just slip away and die. Slipping into madness. Fire up the high. Slipping into madness. Just slip away and die.
I also like that chorus, Slipping Into Madness. I didn't mention Shovelhead Kill Machine. That's a great album as well. I want to make sure I point it out because I don't want people going in the comments saying like, how can I not mention that album with a Death Amphetamine and Altered Boy. I'm trying to remember Abomination. Really, really good songs.
So pay the dealer. Let's go a little bit because grab the door down to make it all. Compulsive nature. Get us tearing at your soul and you didn't read the writing on the wall. That's the injection. It's overdrawn and the hip becomes another chance to die. The sudden rushing, where euphoria is achieved, nodding with the needle still inside. The cartels, the doctors, the pharmacists. Infection, affliction, dissension. The death tools, the red room, sedation. Addiction, plaguing the youth. Slipping into madness. Fire up the high. Slipping into madness. Just slip away and die. Slipping into madness.
Yeah, I love that chorus. I want to mosh right now. It's been a while. Last time I was in a mosh pit, I got a black eye. So I got to come back and get some revenge next time I'm in there.
Fire up the high. Slipping into madness. Just slip away and die.
Yeah, I love the V-main guitar with the Gary Holt. Now I'm gonna get neck cramps from all the headbanging. Come on, guys. Everybody in the back, raise your hands and let me know who's gotten the neck cramps from headbanging too much in the concert. Come back the next day like, not being able to move. and it sounds distinct enough too that you can hear the other albums in here, but there's also a breath of kind of fresh air in there as well. You can see Gary Holt was conscious of trying something different, and whether it works or not all the time, you know, it's come to prove that the Years of Death and Dying for me didn't connect, but I appreciate him trying to do different things, and in his best way, in the way that he knows, expand the catalog of Exodus in a meaningful way. I know the genre of thrash metal has become a very minute one. There's very, very few fans who are left who are hardcore thrash heads. I think melodic death metal and power metal really has taken over heavy metal as the main genres. Not even death metal anymore. Or black metal has its, you know, here and there moments, but it's always been a very, very underground sound. So it's nice to see still new thrash metal bands come out, especially with the 2007. There was a resurgence of thrash metal with bands like Evil and Warbringer, Vector, Hexen. There was a couple of other ones. I mean, there's like a bunch of different ones. I just don't remember all of them by, you know, from my noodle right away.
The opiated generation now was a job of suicide. The blind deception can't be warm surmise as depression's in a catatonic state. Now in a coma, I'm breathing through a tube. LP2MG is all it takes. Another service, another family member gone. And with the certificate of dates, the cocktails, the doctors, the pharmacists.
Yeah, and again, Zetro, he is really... he's helping lead these songs in just such a kind of a, I don't know, it just feels good. I can't say, I would lie to you if I didn't want to hear Rob Dukes again, but I think his, you know, he's dedicated to another band now, so it's a whole different thing.
Infection, affliction, dissension. The death calls, the red room, sedation. Addiction, begging the youth. Slipping into madness. Fire up the high. Slipping into madness. Just slip away and die. Slipping into madness. Fire up the high. Slipping into madness. Just slip away and die.
Kick-ass song. Really, really like that song as well. So far, Persona Non Grata and Slipping Into Madness are really good. REMF MF is a good song. I liked it. But those, the first and the third song are so far really kick-ass. With the next one being Elitist. So, I don't know if it's going to be referencing the internet, if it's going to be referencing maybe some, you know, different kinds of opposite points of views, whatever it may be. I saw a really crazy podcast with Joe Rogan when they were talking about social media and the way bots can be answering comments and creating controversies when there is none, influencing people's opinions and stuff like that. So it'll just be interesting if they address everything that's going on in social media, the positives and, well, obviously the negatives. Social climate, know it all. Okay, it's about people on the internet who think they know it all about every single topic. Yeah.
Patronizer, stuck up, pretentious, and overbearing. High, you're mighty when the world implodes. Condescending, and a shark offender. Cruel and careless when I know you are wrong. Ring up the bell to call.
Well, you know, I think at some point in time, we probably were all guilty of this. And I would not exclude myself from it. Just because of the access to social media, we think, first of all, we know it all, and that our opinion is the most important sometimes. And it's good to be put back into your place from time to time, whether it be your friends, whether it be a random comment that really kind of educates you and puts you where you need to be. And sometimes it's refreshing. I remember Bill Burr, the comedian, talked about it's sometimes refreshing to get punched in the face, because it makes you analyze yourself, that why did you deserve that punch? Maybe because you were an asshole, or sometimes it's just, you know, you didn't deserve it at all.
Service, bang on the gong to clean the mess up. Now I've used everything I'd ever had, and it doesn't look like I'm stopping now. I'm an elitist. 'Cause I'm an elitist. A-list picture.
Just like Slayer, Exodus has never been afraid of controversy and to say what they feel. I remember when Children of a Worthless God came out, whoa, like everybody couldn't believe that they were talking about it in such an aggressive way. And again, I don't 100% agree with that sentiment, but it's, again, nice to have conversations where polar opposite opinions clash and you can have discourse. Even on the channel here, when I do reactions to songs, I might not say what you wanted to hear, and we have civil discourse about certain topics.
Smarter than most. Yes, egotistic. Moneyed above. Slicing up the stiff neck and lifting the eyebrow. Focusing on things I get for free. A pity and superior attitudes allowed. Here comes another victim to blame. Ring on the bell to call the service. Bang on the gong to clean the mess up. Now I've used every friend I've ever had, and it doesn't look like I'm stopping now.
See, for example, the main riff here, I'm headbanging, but it's like, it's okay, it's not bad, and it's not particularly excited about this song. But let's see, again, on multiple listens it might change, but I've noticed with Exodus, it's one of those bands, the songs I like, I've always really liked. The songs I don't, I never grown to like them. Riot Act from Atrocity Exhibition A, still don't like it. You know, it's just kind of how it is for me. You know, it's not because the song is slow that I'm not 100% on board with it. It's just the main riff was kind of not basic. Like Slipping into Madness had interesting, really interesting, catchy riffs that kept changing with a pace that was just kind of consistent. Here it just feels like it's, yeah, it just kind of stopped. But again, let's keep hearing the album. Let's keep hearing what we got here. Yeah, I think the word is simplistic. I think the song is a little simplistic for Exodus. Um, they had a couple of these songs in the discography that have always been kind of like, okay, it's almost like a Bonded by Blood, you know. You can't take Bounded by Blood out from its time and era that it came out with. So that's, I think, the reason why I like it so much. It would have done for its time. But objectively speaking, Bonded by Blood is a simpler album in comparison to Atrocity Exhibition A when it comes to riffage and soloing and everything like that. It has some really good classic songs like Metal Command and Bonded by Blood and, you know, whatever other songs, Exodus, Exodus Attack. It just has really good songs, but you can't take it out. It's like Slayer's first album, Show No Mercy, or was it Hell Awaits? Well, both of those albums have more simple song structure in comparison to what they had on Rain and Blood and Seasons in the Abyss and everything like that. So in a new Exodus album, this song is a little bit on the boring side.
Smile to your face when I pocket your cash. Ring on the bell to call the service. Bang on the gong to clean the mess up. Now I've used every friend I'd ever had, and it doesn't look like I'm stopping there. I'm an elitist. I'm an elitist.
What I don't judge a band by is lyrics. There's some bands I listen to that have really stupid lyrics, that have some that have really thoughtful lyrics, and that's I have some like something like Exit Somewhere in the Middle, where they say something in their own kind of way, and it's interesting to hear different opinions. But I don't judge a band based on the lyrics, mainly because I come for the music first, then the vocal performance, and if I'm hooked with those, then I go into the lyrics and dive deep. That's just been my process and my brother's process since we were very little, mainly because our first language wasn't English, so we had to listen to songs not knowing what the hell they were about until I think I was about in 4th or 5th grade, where I had a good grasp of the English language since I came from 2nd grade in this country. So now the next song is Prescribing Horror. Good name. Let's see what happens. I like that beginning. Boom, boom. Groovy. Let's see how they come in with this one. Okay, I like that intro so far. So far it has me just like wanting to like literally stop, you know, it's like stop stomping and just had like not even hands around a bunch of people. That's one of the most fun things to do in the mosh pit. You just grab a bunch of people around the shoulders and just headbang together. All the days I used to have long hair. Fuck yes, I'm rewinding that right away. Oh my god. Let's do this. Yes, that intro. Oh my god. Oh my god, I want to mosh right now. I need a concert. Oh, I can just like I'm getting a visual image, you know, when the crowd splits and they split the crowd and then everybody's been moshing, so it's hot air, it's sweaty as hell in there, it's a damp room, when it really hard mosh pit you can barely breathe, and the anticipation, you know the song is gonna build up and that point is gonna hit when it gets into a hard moment, because it's thrash metal, you're just waiting to rush the other side and start moshing. And this is what I'm talking about. The riff itself is super simple. It's super simple, right? He's just chugging the 6th string there. They have that little melody in the background. but I can just, it just some has some kind of an attitude along with the production. It just has me. I am on board. It doesn't need to be complex, and that's when people kind of misunderstand when they say something simplistic. I don't mean that it's bad at all. I love, some of my favorite bands are quite simplistic. Bolt Thrower, one of my favorite, it's my favorite death metal band. There you go. Right away, you know what intro reminds me of? Funeral Hymn. That long intro, that, oh my god, it drove me insane every single time they used to play it live. I would just, and I'm 5'7". I'm not very tall, 145 pounds. You can see I'm not exactly massive. I would get my ass thrown across the floor, but I would still mosh. I just enjoyed it so much. I love that they keep the tempo. Actually, they didn't switch to a faster tempo. They're gonna keep the attitude throughout the song, which to me, let's see again. If they just play on this, it might be, obviously one riff, it gets boring, but I'm sure it can switch it up in some shape or form.
Someone born, dying in the fetal cage. On the day of the nativity in 56 comes a child forsaken, the first of 100,000. Crushed by a drop they've taken, condemned to a life unkind, as they suffered in silence. The hell of the little mind, all in the name of science. A mother's ruin, all for another's greed. Prescribing horror and sorrow when they breed.
And back to that melody, okay. So now we're gonna get a solo. I gotta rewind just a little bit because I want to make sure I don't miss the solo. Yeah, I'm really digging this song right now. I do want a little bit more of a change up in the song personally, but right now with the solo, we'll see. I'm sure after the solo it's gonna be something maybe different. Sorry for the motorcycle. I swear to God, in my street, there's a bunch of guys who drive motorcycles through here really, really loud, like 12 o'clock in the morning. I literally just want to throw a pipe wrench right into the motorcycle so he just flies off it. It's really annoying. It's so rude. Also reminds me a lot of Throwing Down from Temple of the Damned in its style of a song, like simplistic, catchy riff that stays throughout the song, enhanced by the solo. I'm really also glad the bass is heard very well on this album so far.
Wish midwives were taken lives of the child and would not languish, suffocating newborn daughters and sons for the malformations. Given toxic poison that twisted a generation, condemned to a life unkind as they suffered in silence. The hell of the little mind, all in the name of science. A mother's ruin, all for another's greed. Prescribing horror and sorrow when they breed. Created in the past.
That little switch up, yeah, it looks like they stayed with that one riff throughout, which honestly speaking is a little disappointing because that area where they kind of change up just the tone of it, I can't say I particularly like, but I still like the main riff. I still like the solo. I still like the attitude. So the overall song I'm really enjoying.
As an antidote for sarin gas, created in camps of death.
By the way, guys, Zetro Souza, he has a podcast that he does interviews with other bands, like members from other bands on his channel. I think it's called Zetro Toxic Vault. I think that's what it's called. Check it out. So he has some really good interviews there as well.
What price upon a man? Limitless, lifeless, all order displaced. They made money hand over fist by selling this toxic waste.
Condemned to a life unkind, as he suffered in silence. The hill of thalidomide, all in the name of science. A mother's ruin,
All for another's greed.
This is the part I'm talking about. It's like they keep playing it at a slightly different tone, and it's like, okay, well, I wish something else was there, or faster, or something has a change up.
Describing horror and sorrow within rain.
Baby crying. Okay, the song kind of fades out. Then 3 songs that I've heard before. Like I said, if you want to check out the reactions, I'm gonna try to make sure I post them down below, or you can go to my playlist for Exodus. You'll be able to see these, and that's The Beatings Will Continue Until Morale Improves, which I really liked. I thought the song was good. It was the first single they had released. Then they released Clickbait, which is one of the songs I'm going to be skipping here. I, again, really liked. And the third song being The Years of Death and Dying, which I said I didn't enjoy. I didn't particularly like. So we're skipping to Cosa de Pantano, and it looks like it is an instrumental because it's only 1 minute and 13 seconds. And then we have kind of 2 longer songs, one being 8 minutes almost, the other one like 6 and 18, and then we have one like a oh. Well, that's very swamp rockish. Was it John Fogerty? He's going to be playing with Exodus right now. I really like that, actually. I really like him just grooving out on the acoustic guitar. You know what I also liked about Gary Holt always? He seems like just like a genuine dude. Just a regular, genuine, down-to-earth dude. He doesn't present himself as some fucking lord like Dave Mustaine does, or James Hetfield or Lars do, or Kirk Hammett or Axl Rose. He's just a regular dude. Bobby Blitz from Overkill, just a regular. I like that about those personalities. That's because that's how I am in real life. I don't pretend to be more than I am. I know my place everywhere that I go. I don't try to be the center of attention everywhere I go. I'm always chill and relaxed. If anything, I'm an introvert. I like to just minimal contact. And when I do interact with people and they're warm, I answer the same way. But anywho, the song that we're going to be kicking in with right as this ends is going to be Lunatic, Liar, Lord. Alright, I'm sure it's going to be fast. Oh man, I love that. Again, swamp rock style continues here. Oh, this is groovy. I saw that coming. Yeah, without finishing this album, I can tell you this is going to be one of my top albums of the year, for sure. And it's already a packed list. I'm constantly readjusting, plugging one band out, putting another one in as new albums came out. But it looks like Be'lakor is going to stay at the top for me. Coherence, with this probably either second or right there with something. I have to check my list again because I've been compiling it from the beginning of the year.
Eaten alive by your own devotion, cannibalized by your own beliefs, derived by foolish notions. The afterlife is for the naive. The treason of all reason, a celebration of ignorance, bathing in the blood of the Lamb.
This is Gary Holt's guitaring at its best, with nice, groovy, catchy riffs, switching between fast and slow, having like nice kind of bluesy sound to it. He really knows, I think he really knows. There's been critique of him saying he doesn't know how to write metal songs. Are you crazy? Are you insane? Do you listen to the music that he writes? He could be a little long-winded sometimes, for sure, but nobody's perfect. There's no band that stays at the top all the time from beginning to the end for the whole their career, unless they have 3 albums or something like that, you know? Everybody has their ups and downs. Black Sabbath, the Judas Priest, they all have their ups and downs.
The murder of all innocence, assimilation, compensation, and congregation to be ignored. Fall in line for your own demise, for your lunatic liar lord. Religious weapons of mass destruction. Ye financial weapon for class warfare. Monetary needs for reproduction. Cashing checks for despair. The treason of all reason, a celebration of ignorance. Bathing in the blood of the Lamb is the murder of all innocence. Assimilation, compensation, and congregation to be ignored.
You know what I want to see too? I know this doesn't relate for this particular album, but it does relate to Zetro Souza. Is that I want to see him doing the songs that Rob Dukes did and see what kind of style he puts them in. I think it'll be really interesting to hear because I haven't seen him live in concert since Rob Dukes was replaced. So it'd be interesting to hear. And also, of course, I want to hear these songs live. I want to hear Slipping into Madness live, Prescribing Horror live. I want to hear Lunatic Liar Lord live. There'll be interesting songs to go crazy to. I just got to make sure make sure these bones don't creak when I go back into a mosh pit. Like I said, it's been a while, and last time I went on the Overkill concert, I didn't even jump in the mosh pit. I got elbowed in the eye. And I ended up getting literally I couldn't open my eye. I had to train clients with a big black eye, which was not exactly fun. Everybody thought I got into like some serious fight.
Fall in line for your own demise, for your lunatic liar lord.
I really love that, like again, that, not to repeat myself, that southern rock, swamp rock, bluegrass kind of a thing going he's implemented in a Casa de la Pantana and Lunatic Liar Lord. I'm really digging that element that they introduced into that song that really makes it stand out above the rest of Exodus songs, which is not a typical thing that they've done before. And Exodus in general, Gary Holt is known to be, he's kind of experimented with Impact is Imminent, and what is the name of the Thorn in My Side album? Oh my god, Force of Habit. He's experimented, he's tried different things. They don't always succeed, but I've always liked it that he tries different things.
actions, whoring actions to deceive and blind you. Their true mission, one condition, their inquisition to trap and bind you. The fear of science and the science of fear led to the slaughter by your Judas spear. Marked with.
And something I haven't mentioned yet, I am a huge fan of Tom Hunting. I love him as a drummer. I'm so glad that he's recovered from cancer and he's doing well, he's doing better, he's able to play again. Hopefully he'll be able to tour. I like Jack Gibson. Was it Jack Gibson, the bass player? The second guitarist, always forget his name, but I should because I know he has Russian roots. So he's my brother, not to mention he's in Heathen. So it's, I love all these guys. Zetro, Rob Dukes, Paul Bailoff is just I was never on board, and I came in late for the Exodus train, so maybe that's the only reason I'm having a harder time going back to the older albums. It's just like Creator, actually. I like Pleasure to Kill, but it's not anywhere near my favorite Creator album. I actually like their later albums more than the older albums.
Stain with pollution. Sell your soul for your own absolution. Wage again, you'll find it waiting there.
At the end of your days,
Enter through the gates of heaven.
in the name you praise.
Come to find it's just a state of mind.
It's a very day.
And I do like that they didn't just focus on pure speed. It's not their fastest album, for sure. Atrocity Exhibition and Shovelhead Kill Machine are probably their two fastest albums they ever made. It's good, because probably it's hard for them to play at that speed now. Because after all, Gary Holt, I think he's a grandpa. You know, grandpa still got skills and still playing, so he's trying different things. He's spreading his wings, and I enjoy that. There's all types of songs here. So far, again, not a big fan of Elitist, not a big fan of the Years of Death and Dying. It's a shame that I don't like those two songs, but I don't. So far, everything else I like. REMF is the only kind of song that I like, but I'm not 100%. I can't say I love it. I'll put it like that. And other songs, really love. Really, really love. Oh, this is dope. I really like that transition in that guitar riff. Really, really cool. Again, it's the aggression. I love it doesn't have to be the fastest to be the most aggressive. I think Slayer has proved it with a lot of the double harmonies that they've created in their songs, where some of the songs were slower, like Scenes in the Abyss and South of Heaven. Slower songs, but man, are they heavy and full of atmosphere and attitude. What Slayer has done in many, many ways has not been beaten in the thrash genre. Exodus, what they've done with Atrocity Exhibition A, what they've done with Shovelhead Kill Machine. I think in many, many ways, a lot of thrash metal albums don't even come close to those albums, in my opinion. But of course, it's all a matter of opinion. I so hope this doesn't get blocked, because I'm leaving the whole solo from beginning to end. You know, it's like you're supposed to do smaller snippets so that they don't block your video, and they sometimes do. I've had moments where I had to readjust my editing, but because the solos are just so good, I love them going back and forth on solos. That's always I loved about their style. They just one after the other, just like a machine gun. Man, we're getting 2 solos from each guitarist in this song.
I sing to your requiem.
Yeah, I'm so happy that they've created a really strong album. The 7 years break has done them well, and Gary Holt playing and Slayer has done him well. The only one out of like these band members being in other bands, the Heathen album, the new Heathen album, it didn't click with me, but I need to listen to it again, maybe give it another chance.
Interrupted to the war on Christ. The footprints of Bethlehem. Exposed as mankind's greatest heist. The treason of all reason, a celebration of ignorance. Bathing in the blood of the Lamb is the murder of all innocence. Assimilation, compensation, and congregation to be ignored. Follow the line for your own demise, for your lunatic liar.
Yeah, this was a dope song. One of the better ones. Persona Non Grata, Slipping into Madness, Prescribing Horror, Lunatic, Liar Lord. They're really standout songs. Because Clickbait and Beatings Will Continue, they're great songs, but these 3 are just super standouts. Looks like it's gonna just fade out. Yeah, it's gonna fade out into the next song, which is gonna be The Fires of Division. Those of you who are not in the United States, it's been going around the world, but man, in the United States is going crazy. It's just 2 sides now. So I'm guessing it's gonna be talking about that, and maybe the Capitol, what happened in the Capitol as well, which is a touchy subject. And heavy metal should never be ashamed or scared to talk about these topics. Even if it's a point of view we, again, disagree. I'm going to reinforce this so much on this channel. Guys, I tend to be more liberal. I tend to be more progressive. But just because I feel that way doesn't mean it's the only way. You have to have an open mind. You have to communicate and talk to people. And that is the only way we will come together as a people. We shouldn't be fighting about stupid shit all the time. Of course, there are arguments in places where you can't do that and it's on principle, but most of the things that we are dividing us now are not that serious and can be talked out, and we can sit down and have a conversation. Anywho, let's see what the Fires of Division is all about. It's gonna be a fast song. Yeah, no foreplay. Let's just get right into it, right? I have to take some of my words back. It really does sound different. It has inspirations of Temple of the Damned. It has some inspirations of Blood and Blood Out. Not so much Atrocity Exhibition A and B than maybe in a couple of like the way the song structure was in Prescribing Horror, but they're pulling even some from old school, I would say, from Bonded by Blood a little bit. But I'm really enjoying the direction.
Divided rebels once united by ideology of hate. Inside until the two collided. Eagerly we take the bait. Down into the sea of lies that gain no surprise at our fates. Consume all the shit they feed. Excrete it back on the back.
This is going to be a good moshing song, just like killing people in the mosh pit. I've also had this kind of a story where I remember I wanted to jump on somebody so I could crowd surf. And it was this big 6-foot tall dude that was going to help me out. So he puts his hands up to throw me up in the air, tosses me like a piece of potato, like a bag of potatoes. I just fly up, nobody catches me. I just slam down into the ground. And I get up and I'm all like just like crippling my weight, just trying to walk. And then he does go, oh my god, I can't believe nobody caught you. He shakes a couple people's like, you gonna catch him this time. Throws me up again, and then I get crowd surfed. It was so much fun remembering that.
Stoking the fires of division,
Burning out the way.
building the ire and derision.
Freedom's just another word for nothing left to use. The lines are drawn between right and wrong. You only have to choose. This is our time.
See, I like what he's doing with his voice here. I didn't like in the Years of Death and Dying, but in this song, I think it just sounds good. And within the tempo of the music, in the Years of Death and Dying, it just sounds so jarring, in my personal opinion. Whereas here, it's the opposite. It just matches, and it gives a nice texture and difference that you didn't hear in other songs, making it stand out just a little bit more.
That moment for mutiny.
Give me death or liberty.
That might be my favorite solo so far that I've heard.
Do you believe in everything you hear? Believe anything you see? Afraid of what you're told to fear? Coward for what disagree? Givers of society, ashes of the nation.
Yeah, it seems like the only song with Prescribing Horror that really kind of stood out and was more simplistic in its nature.
Will rain upon us all in the crumbling foundation. Burning, no hope returning. Democracy set aflame. Sharing, love, peace, and sharing. Willingly we play the game. Wallowing in a field of shit.
enjoying the drums too on this particular song. They're just going for it.
I said it's all the same. No strength until united. Building we have our name.
Tom Hunting, I think, is quite. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's not the top of the top elite, the top 5 or something like that in the conversation, but he is a great drummer, and his attitude just adds to it. I would have a very hard time actually creating the top 10 drummers list, because there's a lot of people that I really, really admire as drummers. Was it Nico from Iron Maiden, Dave Lombardo, trying to remember a couple more drummers, Eloy Casangrada from the new Sepultura, which I don't like the new Sepultura, but damn is he a good drummer. And I'm talking about from recent, the guy from Sound of Perseverance and Symbolic in Death. That drummer was amazing.
The fires of division, blaming around away, building the higher derision. Freedom's just another road, with nothing left to lose. The lines are drawn between right and wrong. You only have to choose. This is our time, our moment for mutiny. Give me death or liberty.
Yeah, I like the change ups as well. This is one of the more progressives, kind of, or with the song with the most amount of change ups in the riffs. I cannot wait to show this to my brother, because he's the one who's shown me Exodus. I discovered Exodus because of him being my older brother. He did most of the research back when we were really young. Good. That was a kick-ass song. Ah, man. Guys, we're on to the last one, Anti-Seed. I am getting into this album much faster too, because I mentioned before in this reaction, is that Blood In Blood Out didn't connect with me automatically. It's the next couple of listens, because I couldn't believe I'm not gonna like an Exodus album. It can't be. Is there something wrong? But when I started to listen to second, third, fourth, fifth, I was just hooked on the album. Especially a song like Nerve, and what's the song after Nerve? I'm trying to remember. There's a couple songs I really, really, really liked. Anywho, let's get into the last song, Anti-Seed. I gotta tell you guys, my neck is hurting from all the headbanging. Oh man. Let's go. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing for me to say, guys. I've said it all. This is the best birthday gift I could have gotten, is this album to be this good. I don't know what it is about thrash metal that just gets me so excited. There's no other genre, for the most part, that gets me this excited when I listen to the music. With other music, when I usually listen to, like, if you saw my Bellacore reaction, it's just I'm grooving, I'm in there, I'm enjoying, but I'm more calm and I'm kind of like, oh, you know, I really like this. But the way that thrash metal makes me react, Bolt Thrower does it to me, Amon Amarth does it to me, with their death, being in death metal. There's just certain bands just get it out of me, and they create such riffs that are catchy and make you want to just get up and start breaking shit all around you.
Everything dies, giving life only to the flies. So the bullets, and nothing left but the weeds. Till the soil, until the young bleeds. The smell of mankind rotting on the vine. The season of decline. Plant the anti-seed, watch the death grow. The only way to feed and make the blood flow. The reaping, build the fields of gore. Hear the weeping, it's harvest time.
Yeah, there's only 2 songs I don't like on this album. And even the Elitist, it's strong word, dislike. More kind of lukewarm about it. It's like, it's okay, I can listen to it. I probably won't skip it if I'm listening to the whole album. But I see myself skipping the Years of Death and Dying. I'm gonna give it a couple more listens. Maybe it's one of those songs that I gotta get into. But every other song so far, yep.
Nothing grows on fallow hills. Seeds planted, shadows still. In the end, there's nothing left to kill. These roots don't fade away. The gold deeper every day. Destroy everything in play. Sell the bullets, and nothing left but the weeds. Till the soil, until the young bleeds. The smell of mankind rotting on the vine. The season of decline. Plant the anti-seed, watch the death grow. The only way to feed and make the blood flow. The reaping, build the fields of gore. Hear the weeping.
And it's different. It's a nice, different song from Exodus in terms of, and when I say different, I don't mean like they've changed their style up completely. It's different enough as a fan of Exodus to be like, whoa, that's a little new. Whoa, I haven't heard this before. And it's nice. I don't expect Exodus to start playing death metal or black metal or some shit like that, or completely change the way they write music. That's just not going to happen. You know, I go to Exodus for a specific sound and I got it. And that's what I want. And besides, they're at the point in their career, it's not their job to innovate. It's the job of the young guys to innovate. And the youngins who are coming up in the metal scene that are doing different things and combining different elements and maybe even upping the game. You know, competition is always getting harder and harder and harder as time goes by. The name of Exodus is also helping them to be where they're at, but it's rightfully deserved in my opinion. I think it's definitely, when they give the big 4, I'm actually not a big Anthrax fan. I do like Testament. I think Testament's great. I think Metallica is great in their right. Megadeth is good. But why isn't Overkill in there? Why is Exodus not there? Why is Creator not there? Why is Sodom not there? It's like, how are you gonna leave out some of these like really classic thrash metal bands that've kind of been out there? Annihilator, you know. But that's just kind of how it is.
It's harvest time!
It very much reminds me of Bedlam 123 for some reason. I don't want to pause the solo, but I'm so afraid that this is gonna get just blocked. But man, yeah, let's end the last song with just a crazy amount of solos, right? Oh, damn.
Jubilate it and bring it to the end! Cut the gates, the dying we attend! The entities will bring death to us all! Yeah, we watch it all fall!
Yeah, and then it kind of fades out into it. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, guys, this was a good album. Maybe I wouldn't even say it's on the long side. No, it has a lot of songs. It's a meaty album for sure. For sure. But man, there was some unexpected things. There's some things I wanted to hear and I got them. There's some things I didn't exactly was on board. But overall, strong record. Very definitely one of the better records I heard this year. Where it stacks in the list, we'll have to see. But tune in, guys. I am gonna do a full review for this as well. I'll link it down below. And most likely it'll come out actually first, and then the reaction to it, because I think people kind of want to see the review first and want to hear the album themselves. So we'll get into that as well on a different video. But hopefully, guys, you enjoy the rest of your day. Keep it metal. Hopefully you enjoyed this reaction and keep listening to Exodus, and hopefully maybe I'll see you guys someday in the pit if you're in the New York area. Have a good one, guys.